Good morning, everyone. Nice to have you with us. My name is Tanya Romine, and I am a member of this congregation and your worship associate today. On behalf of Reverend Dave Dunn, our intern minister, Liz Martin, Director of Religious Exploration, Lexi T. Brown, our music director, Alex Peach, and the greeters, the technical team that make our live stream possible today, I would like to welcome you to Unitarian Universalist Metro Atlanta North congregation, which we lovingly call UUMAN. UUMAN is a liberal faith community with the mission to nurture our spirit, strive for justice, and transform the world. No matter who you are, whom you love, or where you are on your spiritual journey, everyone is welcome here. Welcome to all those joining us remotely. For any visitors who are here for their very first time, and if you are comfortable in doing so, we would love it if you would stand and tell us your name and where you're from so that we can get to know you better. Do I have any visitors on my left? No? Okay. Any visitors on my right? Do we have any visitors on the live stream? Okay. We would like to acknowledge that the land upon which this congregation is situated is the former home of the Muskogee and Cherokee nations and those who have gone before them. Now, I'm going to give you a few announcements. If you are new to UUMAN and you would like to learn more about our principles, our values, and what UUMAN is about, then please attend UU 102 session after the service next Sunday. Please see Lynn Hannon for more information. And there's Miss Lynn right there. Although OWL will be taking place at its regularly scheduled time this afternoon, we will not be having any second-hour programming due to our annual auction. And we do ask that everybody be present and enjoy the auction.
Good morning, all. It's been 3 weeks, and in case you've forgotten who I am, I'm the Reverend Dave Dunn, minister of the congregation, and Lexi's here. It's so good to see you all again after 3 weeks. And especially the auction today, you're supposed to wear your football jerseys. I see a couple. Anybody else? I can't wear my jersey, but I do have my Steeler shirt on under here. So, yeah, I got to get with the program. So today is our new member Sunday, so I invite the membership team and any new members who will be joining the congregation today to come forward.
Little miscommunication there. Amy is our membership rep today to hang out with the new visitors. So we have 3 people who are joining us today. Actually, all 3 are rejoining us. So ordinarily, we have the new members sign the book. But since they are all returning members, we're just going to have a little ceremony for them. So here in this church, we together seek a higher purpose and deeper life than we could find alone. We are grateful today for each one of you that you have found your way here and that you have decided to make a commitment of time, talent, and treasure to this faith community. We hope that as members of this church, you will allow yourselves to know and to be known, to minister and to be ministered unto, to love and to be loved by this congregation. And now I'll say the names of the rejoining members: Bill Cambry, Mary Cambry, and Pat Lampert. So new members, will you accept our gifts of fellowship, discovery, and service? Will you offer us your unique presence and gifts? Will you add your name to the long history of Unitarian Universalists who spread hope with our living faith? Will you engage with us as we seek to create a community and a world dedicated to love and justice? If so, please respond by saying, "We will." We will.
All right, y'all, members of the Unitarian Universalist Metro Atlanta North congregation, will you welcome these 3 new members as we each were once welcomed here? Will you offer them your warmth and comfort of your fellowship? Will you seek to add your strengths and talents to the new gifts that they bring us? Will you honor the changes to this place that these new members will invariably bring or re-bring? If so, please respond by saying, "We will." We will.
New members, we welcome you to this community with all our hearts. Thank you for joining us. And now let us greet one another in the hand of fellowship.
Oh, you doing it now. We light this chalice for the courage to seek truth, even when the answers are unfinished. We light it for faith that welcomes questions and for reason guided by compassion. May this flame remind us that understanding grows when we listen deeply, that conscience matters more than conformity, and that hope is kept alive by those willing to think, to care, and to act. May we be people who choose light over fear, honesty over comfort, and love over certainty. Now, if you are able to rise and join us in singing hymn number 123, Spirit of Life, from the hardback hymnal. We are now in this time of our service where young children and old are invited to the front for our time for all ages. After the story, children are invited to exit into Fellowship Hall for Children's Chapel for the remainder of the service. If this is your child's first time attending Children's Chapel, please walk them to Fellowship Hall.
How's this? Good, okay. Come on over, everyone. Lots of room over here. Come on over, yeah. Okay, the story today is called A Frog in the Bog. Does everybody know what a bog is? It's kind of a muddy, wet, kind of a wetlands spot, lots of water, dirt, muck. Yeah, okay, a frog in the bog. There's a frog on the log in the middle of the bog, a small green frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of the bog. See, there's the frog on the log. He flicks one tick as it creeps up a stick. One tick in the belly of a small green frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of the bog. And the frog grows a little bit bigger. He sees two fleas as they leap through the reeds. One tick, two fleas in the belly of the frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of the bog. And the frog grows a little bit bigger. He spies three flies as they buzz through the skies. One tick, two fleas, three flies. Oh my. In the belly of the frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of the bog. And the frog grows a little bit bigger. He glugs four slugs as they slink through the sludge. One tick, two fleas, three flies. Oh my. Four slugs. Ew, in the belly of the frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of the bog. And the frog grows a lot bigger. Look at that tummy. He inhales 5 snails from their heads to their tails. One tick, two fleas, three flies, 4 slugs, ew, and 5 slimy snails in the belly of the frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of the bog. What a hog, that frog. And the frog grows a little bit bigger, really huge. Then that log with the frog in the middle of the bog starts to rise, and the frog sees eyes. Whoops. And the frog sees claws and a big set of jaws and a mouth like a crater, and the frog screams, "Gator!" With his mouth open wide, all the bugs inside start to crawl and to fly and to slither and slide. Out come 5 snails from their heads to their tails, 4 slugs, 3 flies, oh my, 2 fleas, and 1 tiny tick. Yick. And right in the middle of his holler, this frog grows a whole lot smaller. See you later, says the gator as he romps through the swamp, because the itty-bitty frog isn't big enough to chomp. Now, the bugs in the bog keep away from the frog, and the frog never sits on half-sunk logs.
At this point in our service, we share of our joys and sorrows, joys which each other to magnify them, and our sorrows to divide the weight of their pain. If you are so moved, please feel free to come forward and state your name and drop a pebble in the bowl and express your joy or sorrow that you may have. For those of you attending via our live stream, if you have a joy or a sorrow that you would like to share this morning, please type it in the chat and we will read it aloud.
I'm David Krober. I'm a member of this congregation. I'm dropping a pebble of sorrow for my brother Eric, who lost his wife Donna 10 days ago due to complications from organ failure. She was 61. So this is for Donna Wolf.
This is really, okay, I'm Amanda. I've been a member of this congregation since 2017. And tomorrow, so the Georgia legislation session is going on. And tomorrow, a group of us are going down to lobby with Moms Demand Action. And so if anybody wants to try to work on getting a ride with us or meeting us down there, just see me after the service.
Good morning, I'm Denise. My family are members here, and I have 2 pebbles this morning of concern. First one is for my mother-in-law, my husband's mom. She's been in the hospital coming up on a week starting tomorrow, and they're not really sure what's going on, but she's really, really uncomfortable, so just keep her in your thoughts. And the other one is for my mom, whose liver cancer has returned.
Hi, I'm Chris Peterson. I'm a member of the congregation. My joy is actually not here today because my middle son, Owen, turns 13 today. And on their birthday, they get to, it's a choice day. They get to do what they want. He opted to stay home in his pajamas, and I don't blame him. But my joy is that I now have 2 teenagers. I have a teenage son that is 13 now, so as of today.
I love that she said 2 teenagers was a joy. My name is Kelly Callan. I'm a member of the congregation, and my first one, I have 2 joys. My first one is to all of you who have contributed to what's going to be an amazing auction today. So thank you for all of your generous donations and also generous bids. It really is inspiring. And my second joy is having our dear friend Jen Donlin in the congregation today. For those that don't know, Jen is the founder of Empowered Roswell and hosted our very first gay pride in June, this past June, which was a huge success, and we'll be hosting, as far as I know, our first Pride Prom on Valentine's Day. So it is such a joy to have Jen and her family in the house, and we look forward to sharing the work. Jen?
All right, this is a pebble of both joy and concern. My oldest child has been living in Omaha, Nebraska for the last 5 years, and they and their partners have decided that they don't feel safe in Omaha anymore, and so they have picked up and moved to Seattle, which is a very expensive place to live. So there's the concern. I'm happy for them that they're finding a place where they will feel safer, but I'm also really concerned about this whole $4,000 in rent a month for the four of them. Yeah, so.
And I'm Tanya, member of this congregation. I'd like to pick up 34 pebbles, but I'll only do one because a week and a half ago I celebrated 34 years of sobriety. And I'll drop one pebble for all those joys and sorrows that are too tender to escape the folds of our hearts. If everyone would keep everyone in their hearts throughout the week, it would be wonderful. Thank you. That was just beautiful, Alex. Thanks. So our 50/50 organization for February is the Minnesota Immigrants' Rights Action Committee, MIRAC, an all-volunteer grassroots organization that has mobilized and educated the immigrant community and their allies since 2006. MIRAC is a fundraiser to support the Latino and Somali immigrant communities during this time of fear and intimidation from federal officials. They are leading a movement to say no more deportations and to say no more collaboration between local public safety officials and federal ICE officers. Please see the insert in your worship outline for more details about this important organization. In an effort to fulfill and further the vision and mission of this congregation, we ask that our members and friends share their time, talent, and treasure with us. We will now take the offering. Anything that you want 50/50, half of your donation would go to MIRAC, and you would need to specify that either in the Breeze app or on your donation.
We accept this sacred offering, generously given by our beloved members and friends. May we use it wisely and judiciously in service to our mission. Now, Tanya, can I do the sermon now? Okay, there's a lot of power up here. She's like, we're just not having a sermon today. We're skipping that. As a first semester freshman chemical engineering student at Villanova University, I had to take an advanced introductory chemistry class as my first semester. And in the sprinkled within the textbook of that chemistry class were some biographies of famous chemists, you know. And one of the first ones, maybe the first one in there, was one on this guy named Joseph Priestly. It said that he was perhaps one of the first true chemists. He was born in England in 1733, and he is the first, well, he discovered oxygen. He's the first person to isolate oxygen from the atmosphere. He also is the first person to create carbonated water, CO2 in water. So he's known as the father of the soft drink. He made no money on that, but the Schweppes company took his thing and made lots of money. Obviously, it was a very big industry. Also in that little biography that it said, again, this is many years ago, it said that he had some unusual religious beliefs. I'm like thinking, okay, wacko. Well, it was much, much later that I discovered that this Joseph Priestley, this individual was not only a chemist, but he was an expert scientist on many other subjects. He was an educator, a historian, a political theorist, a theologian, and a minister of the Unitarian persuasion, hence the non-traditional beliefs. To be clear, he technically wasn't a Unitarian minister because there was no Unitarian denomination at the time. He was a member of the dissenting churches in England, churches that weren't aligned with the official Church of England. Priestley was a dissenting minister with a Unitarian theology. He would use that word, the Unitarian theology. Now, he did help start the first church in England that called itself Unitarian, the Essex Street Church in London in 1774. And later, in 1796, he helped found the first Unitarian church in Philadelphia, the first church in North America to explicitly call itself Unitarian. That's 1796. Think about this. I know you all know your Unitarian Universalist history, but William Ellery Channing preached his famous Unitarian Christianity sermon in 1819. It was after that sermon that the real Unitarian denomination started. Yet Priestley had started the first Unitarian church in Philadelphia like 25 years before that. Simply put, Joseph Priestley was a genius's genius. In addition to being a chemist, as I said, he was a scientific expert in other areas. He wrote a book on electricity that became the reference book for 100 years. He was an historian and educator. His histories were well received and used as textbooks in England and in the U.S. colonies and later the United States. He wrote books on grammar. Actually, later on, when he would engage in philosophical, theological, political debates, pamphlet debates with his opponents, his adversaries, he would criticize them not only for their ideas, but for their use of grammar. At age 16, he became gravely ill and almost died. And it was after that traumatic event that he began to question his Calvinist beliefs. Though still professing to be a Christian, his theological investigations led him to doubt things like the Trinity, original sin, the divinity of Jesus, the virgin birth, hell. These were kind of Unitarian ideas at the time. He became a believer in universal salvation, which is obviously part of our Universalist heritage. These ideas were even too radical, too heretical for even the dissenting churches, and many of the dissenting churches would not have him as a member. He started a school. People wouldn't send their children to that school because he was believed to be too heretical. Yet his ideas inspired many, many people, some being Thomas Jefferson, some being Benjamin Franklin. Again, he was a political radical, and some called him a revolutionary because he was the principal advocate for the rights of the dissenters. Many of the dissenters didn't have certain rights in England. They couldn't hold political office. They couldn't work in the government. He advocated the separation of church and state. He believed that the people have the right to overthrow their monarch. He supported both the American and the French revolutions. This is him living in England in a monarchy. These kinds of beliefs will get your name put on lists, and his name was on lists. Dissensions or tensions between the dissenters and the loyalists to the monarch in the Church of England came to a peak in 1791. At the time, he was the minister of a dissenting church in Birmingham, England. And he was, again, like I said, the principal advocate on behalf of the dissenters. And in 1791, some riots broke out. They were called the Priestley riots. And they burned his church down, and they burned his house down, and he barely survived. Him and his wife, children, barely survived. They fled to England for a very short, or London for a very short while, and then Benjamin Franklin convinced him to move to the United States, and he moved to Philadelphia and later on other places in Pennsylvania. But when he moved to Philadelphia, that's when he started the first Unitarian church in Philadelphia. Again, the first church in North America to specifically call itself Unitarian. It is still an ongoing church today. Ironically today, there are statues and plaques commemorating the brilliance of Joseph Priestly in Birmingham, England, where they burned his house and church down. Okay. And this, ladies and gentlemen, concludes the who, what, when, and where of this service. Thank you very much. With the how portion of this talk left for the future, maybe we can work on that together sometime. What's left in this sermon is the all-important why. Why am I telling you this? Why am I telling you this? Well, dissenters and heretics, they break things. They break windows, they bust down doors to open them up to let some fresh air in and help us realize maybe we've been breathing some really stale air for a very long time. And maybe they hold a candle up in the darkness to help us realize that we maybe perhaps have been stumbling around in the darkness for a long time. Help us realize that we've been suffering, afraid, fearful, playing it safe. Actually, again, without really knowing it. Thinking that was just simply the way things were, that was our lot in life. So just who are the heretics and dissenters? Sometimes they're ministers like Joseph Priestley or other Unitarian ministers like Theodore Parker in the 19th century. Yet more often than not, the dissenters and the heretics are the best of the writers, artists, painters, poets, and musicians. Yes, perhaps the poets are the most heretical of all. Back in high school and in junior high, I was actually a pretty good student. I got mostly A's and a few B's. But yet, without really knowing it, I was, for the most part, focused on the who, what, when, and where of my education. I really wasn't focused on the why. I didn't even know to focus on the why. Actually, it wasn't until after my second year in college that I began to think about this. After my second year in college, I had to immediately take a three-week intensive class, like in May of that year, right after spring semester. I took that intensive class, and then I had the rest of the summer. I decided not to go home to Pittsburgh. I'll stay in Philadelphia, and I'll work some odd jobs and just hang out. And I did that. I worked a lot of jobs, actually. But every night, I did something I really haven't spent much time doing in my life up to that point. I started reading some books. I read The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. I read Catch-22 by Joseph Heller. I read The World According to Garp by John Irving. I read The Quiet American by Graham Greene, Seize the Day by Saul Bellow, and A Separate Peace by John Knowles. It was also the summer that I began to play harmonica, and I'd never played an instrument at that point. And I was reading this article about my favorite harmonica player. They asked him in the article who his influences were, and he rattled off these names like Junior Wells, Little Walter, and Miles Davis. And I'm like, who are these people? Fortunately, I lived right down the street from this great music store called Plastic Fantastic that unfortunately closed in 2018. I'm glad they lasted that long. But they had everything there. And I found this Junior Wells Buddy Guy record, and I found a Miles Davis record, and I took it home, not knowing what to expect. I cued that Junior Wells Buddy Guy record, and it was from the first chords, from the first harmonica riffs. It was like, where have you been all my life? And then I cued this Miles Davis record, and the first song was the song that I played. It's called On Green Dolphin Street, and it starts with this real mellow piano solo intro, and then the drum brushes come in, and then Miles Davis plays this muted trumpet, and it just went right through me. Perfect and beautiful. Yes, it's the musicians, the artists, the painters, and the poets. They are the best of them. Are the heretics and the dissenters. They are whispering in our ears saying, have you considered this? What are you doing here? What are you doing with your life? Seize the day. Well, my grades immediately plummeted after that. They surely did, and my parents, they hung with me. Thank God. They hung with me because it was hard. They weren't used to that for me. But also, after that, I didn't really care so much about the who, what, where, and when unless it had an accompanying why. Why am I learning this? What is the significance of this in my life? Why is a powerful word. It demands accountability. It demands justification. It's the first beautiful question most of our children ask of us. Why, Mommy? Why, Daddy? Why, right? And it can be annoying, and sometimes we just say, because I said so, because I said so, because. That's not a good answer to a why question. I have a niece who, when she was 4 years old, she just constant why questions, and it got to the point, because. And she got to be a bossy 4-year-old and say, Uncle David, you go away, I said, and because. I guess there's no other reason than because. There's no getting around it. January was a very tough month. Brutal. And I'm not talking about the weather. It was brutal. FBI seizing the 2020 Georgia voting data. They're coming for the midterm elections, y'all. And they will do whatever we let them get away with. We've had ICE violence, ICE thuggery, ICE murders in Minnesota. An administration that will boldly lie about what happened. Continue to boldly lie, even when we can see with our own eyes. And then go to great lengths to discredit, humiliate, and essentially do a character assassination of the people they assassinated. Alex Preddy was a nurse. Renee Good was a poet. Dissenters and heretics, like Joseph Priestly, along with the best of the writers, painters, poets, they're the fearless ones. They're not afraid of being politically incorrect in the cause of justice, not afraid of pointing out what's going on in society, not afraid of breaking some windows and busting down some doors. They're the ones letting us know that there's fresher, better air out there than the air that we've settled for. And they want us, and they want you, to create, to write, to read, to play, to paint, to dream, and most of all, to ask why. Because the powers that be, ultimately, they don't want you to do any of those things. They only want you to do the things that you've been told to do. They don't want you to create. They don't want you to write. They don't want you to paint. They don't want you to play. They don't want you to think. They don't want you to dream. No, they don't want to hear anybody saying something like, I have a dream. They don't want to hear anybody asking why. Well, Martin Luther King needs you to keep dreaming. And Joseph Priestley needs you to keep asking why.
So first of all, my secretary is not getting a raise this year because our closing hymn, where it says in your order of worship 10:18, it is 10:38. Come go with me. It's 10:18. 10:18.
Freedom in the
We're now going to extinguish our chalice. Are you done? We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Okay, I have them. I'm going to invite Jennifer to actually do the benediction from words that were in this recent month's newsletter.
And try this one last thing. Reimagine our world as we would love to see it be. Let your imagination soar. Let your dream form in your mind and in your heart. Let your words sing. Let your steps lead your way home. And know that you are not alone.
And David has a quick announcement.
Thank you, Dave, for a great sermon, and Jennifer for reading that benediction. So, that concludes our service today, but I wanted to just give everybody a little bit of a heads up on what's going to happen now with the auction. So, it's about 10 till 11 right now. We're going to ask everyone to float over into the fellowship hall where we've got our new member reception set up. So, welcome our new members. There's some cake. We'll have our usual coffee and beverages there for that. During that time, we're also going to be setting up the tailgate food. So imagine that you've gone to the stadium, you're there to get hot dogs, pizza, popcorn, nachos, all that good stuff. Encourage you to grab that probably around 11 or 11:15. You can eat wherever you'd like. I'd encourage you to come on back in here to the sanctuary, browse the fantastic silent auction items that we've got. We've got gift baskets, there's artwork, there's memorabilia, sign-up things for dinners and parties, so browse that during that time. And then around 11:45, we'd like to have everybody back in here, and we'll get the auction started probably right before noon, since we're a little bit ahead of schedule. If you don't have a ticket yet, you do need a ticket to bid on items, whether in the silent auction or in the live auction. If you don't have a ticket yet, there's a QR code in your program. You can scan that, or you can get some help out here at the desk. And we've tried to set this up so that when the live auction concludes at 1, we'll close the silent auction. And if you're the winning bidder, you'll get a notification in the app. You can actually take the items that you bid on and won today. So if you got any questions, please see me, Martin, Michelle, Kelly, anyone out there. Bev, you got one right. If you've bought your ticket online, check in with Martin and Michelle, and they're going to give you a paddle number yes, some people got their number, so you'll get that's your live auction bidding number. Okay. All right. And any other questions? Find us out here. Thank you very much.
Go in peace and enjoy your week.
My dad's